Morning, guys. Today's date is Wednesday, April 15th, and welcome to Biology. We are choosing to be a little more goofy with the do now. Is just a chance to get to know you guys a little bit better. So today's do now question is, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? So please make sure you answer that question in the do now question response form by 2 p.m. so we can take your attendance. One thing I just want to explain real quick before talking about the daily agenda would be evidence for evolution. So on Monday, you guys did a peppered moth simulation, and one piece of evidence for evolution is direct observation. About 3 weeks ago, we asked you guys opinions about what you think about evolution. So from your own personal beliefs, from religious to familial, like what are your thoughts on evolution? And the opinions in our classes are very widespread. So with that, I just want to take a little bit of time to explain that the direct observation, just remember that the definition for evolution is a change in a species over time. I know there's a lot of stuff, and we'll get maybe into that later in the unit about where humans came from, all that stuff, and it gets maybe confusing or controversial, but the peppered moth is a perfect example of evolution because essentially it's a change in the species over a period of time. The change happened because of the environment, so that's natural selection, change in the species in response to the environment. The peppered moths were white color, and then as the Industrial Revolution happened, the trees became black, and the species had to change. Adaptations occurred because of mutations. The species changed to black so that they were eaten less by the birds. And then the Industrial Revolution, there was this thing called the Clean Air Act, and the trees actually went back to white. And then lo and behold, the peppered moths actually went back to being a white color. So evolution is the change in a species over time, and peppered moths is a direct example of that. So that's a piece of evidence for evolution. Today's learning is we're going to start getting into some very specific terms about evolution. So microevolution is the video that we're watching today. And then there's an additional video about the 5 fingers of evolution. So with that, you can do that like we said, if you have a printer, you could print off the note sheet. If not, just do the 5 fingers of evolution reflection on a separate sheet of paper. Finally, we have the directional selection activity. I will say, of the activities that we're doing, this is a more challenging one. Some advice that I want to give you is you're going to be looking at different species and predicting how they are going to respond to new selection pressures because of climate change. So you are going to make a prediction about what is going to happen to the species and how they are going to respond. So hints for today's activities is 1, when you start, you got to read the whole entire section. So when you start with the directional selection activity, read the whole entire section first, and then identify the selection pressure. What is the thing that is causing a challenge for the species? And then number 2, identify the trait. What trait has to change? Like, how does the trait have to change in order for the species to be successful in the future? So you're making a prediction about how the trait is going to change in response to climate change problems. So if you have any questions at all today, just message Cornell or I on Schoology. Best of luck and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, guys.